Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Ryan Kostrowski. This is Wisconsin Sports Talk. We got another Bucks game coming up tonight, heading down to Miami. Guys have been down there chilling in South Beach for the last day. Hopefully, they didn't have too much fun while they were down there. We can come out and play effectively tonight against a desperate Miami team. So let's preview this bad boy quickly. Not a lot to say about it, not a marquee matchup or anything like that. But as it sits right now, this is actually a playoff preview. Obviously, Miami could easily move up or down. I mean, they could go up to the 6th seed or get out of the playoffs. But as it sits right now, this would be our first round matchup, and it's really not the one that I would want. Obviously, the Bucks are way better than the Miami Heat, but this is not. We don't match up well with the Heat. Not saying that we're not the better team and couldn't sweep them or anything like that. It's just as far as the other teams down there around the 7, 8, 9, 10 seed right now, I would rather play them than overplay the Miami Heat. So. If you guys are new to the station, we're here to talk Bucks, Packers, and Brewers. Obviously, all three of them are in play right now. It's super exciting. We got the Packers going hog wild in free agency, making good moves. We got the Bucks with the best record in the NBA, and the Brewers season about to start, just a couple of weeks away, coming off almost a World Series berth. The team's looks to have gotten better a little bit in the offseason. Not substantially, but a little bit. We get our ace, Jimmy Nelson, back. Yasmani Grandal is added to the team. There is just a lot to be excited about with Wisconsin sports right now. This is awesome. So if you want more videos, press that red button that says subscribe. I'll be here talking about it most days. And of course, if you want to do the kind thing, the thumbs up is always appreciated. Like the video, give it the thumbs up. Help spread me around the YouTube. I got another full-time YouTube show where we break down daily fantasy sports. And so I've been through this whole process before. It is difficult to get a YouTube channel established, and this would help me do that. So thank you in advance. Anyways, we got the 51-17, 750 winning percentage, number one, first place Milwaukee Bucks, headed down to Miami tonight to take on the 32-35 Miami Heat. Again, there's a big-time talent discrepancy right here. The Bucks are a lot better than the Miami Heat, hence the big difference in their records. But as far as like mediocre 500 teams go, I don't love the way that we match up with the Miami Heat. So if they play their A game and we don't play ours, this is a game that we could lose. The Heat are a desperate team right now. Every single game for them matters. And while Milwaukee wants to wrap up that number one seed, facts are facts. We just don't need this game nearly as much as you do. If you look at people who bet sports, a lot of them will like to lean on the team that is more desperate. And in this case, that's going to be the Miami Heat. So according to Vegas, this game's got a projected total of 219, which to me, it seems about right. Obviously, Milwaukee loves to move fast. At the same time, though, Miami is a much more half-court set type of team. So the 219 seems about right. The Bucks are favored about 5. And again, seems about right to me. You're usually spotted about 3 points for being the road team. Seems fair. I'd be hesitant to bet this one. If I was a sports bettor, this is not a game that I feel very confident in betting the total nor the 5 points because, and we'll get into it, I kind of expect this one to be a dogfight. I expect it to be a little bit back and forth. Now, the trump card to this one could easily be if the Bucks come out shooting the ball on fire from the outside, we could run away with this one. We can do that to anybody when the 3 ball's dropping. But being that Miami is the more desperate team, I really wouldn't look to bet on this one if it was me. And going back to why it is that Miami matches up well with Milwaukee is they do have a wide variety of guys who can shoot the 3 ball pretty effectively. The loss of Wayne Ellington doesn't help their one really, really good 3-point shooter with guys like Richardson, Goran Dragic, Dwayne Wade, even Justice Winslow and Kelly Olynyk and guys like that. They can spread the floor a little bit. And while none of these guys are what I would call great 3-point shooters, they're not Klay Thompson or anything like that. If the ball's dropping that day and they're playing defense and they're getting in the lane against Giannis and the boys, they do pose a threat to Milwaukee. They did beat us earlier in the year. It was in Miami. It was on the tail end of a back-to-back for Milwaukee. We absolutely walloped them in the other game. So it's been split so far this season at 1-1. And I expect Milwaukee to put forth enough of an effort to win this game. I'm just making sure that we don't look past this one because we got a big game on Sunday. This specific game is why I want to touch on what Brook Lopez has added to Milwaukee this year. For my money, this still goes down as one of the most underrated signings in the NBA. I still don't think a lot of people are talking about it because in the day of fantasy sports, and I know because I analyze fantasy sports for a living, everybody looks at wide receivers in football for yards. They look at who scores the most points and things like that. And there's a lot more that goes into winning basketball than just scoring points and pitting up big numbers. The Bucks have gone from one of the worst rebounding teams in the league to one of the best, and this is all because of Brook Lopez. Now, people who just look at numbers don't quite understand that because they don't see him with massive rebounding numbers. But what he does to the opponents as far as patrolling and controlling the paint allows guys like Giannis to up their rebounds. Middleton, the other guys around him benefit a lot more than he does. But this has happened to every single team Brook Lopez has ever played consistent minutes for. They've become a pretty good rebounding team, despite the fact that his rebounds aren't great. So in years past, we have struggled against the Heat from time to time because guys like Hassan Whiteside, Bam Adebayo, they come in and they were able to bully ball guys like John Henson. You can't bully ball Brook Lopez. Come playoff times, man, Brook Lopez being able to at least make life harder on Joel Embiid than John Henson could. If we're fortunate enough to get to the finals, DeMarcus Cousins, hell, if we meet up with the Raptors, now that they got Marc Gasol, we need a little bit of that girth down low in the middle. And Brook Lopez, he's just a lot heavier than John Henson. The other thing that he adds that cannot be understated is a big guy like this that takes guys like Hassan Whiteside away from the basket. Whiteside is one of the better shot blockers in the NBA. And being able to clear and get him away, allowing Giannis and Bledsoe and Brogdon to attack the paint cannot be overstated. So this is one of those specific matchups where I'm glad we got Brook Lopez on our side this year, guys. He has been very, very important. It's not just Coach Bud. Obviously, Coach Budenholzer has made the biggest difference. But Brook Lopez, I do not think that his value to this team can be understated. I think it's very underrated at this point. Now, we saw the Packers this week. They made a bunch of moves in free agency. It's what I call those meat and potatoes moves. They went after linebackers, guys who can rush the passer, a versatile offensive lineman, strong safety and things like that. That's not a flashy move. It's not Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown weren't going to make the Packers winners this year. They weren't going to change the culture. That's what Brook Lopez is. When he was signed, it wasn't like going out and getting LeBron, but he has added so much to Milwaukee this year that this is one specific team that I'm so happy we have Brook on our side. All right, so what do the Bucks need to do to win this game tonight? First and foremost, we got to play defense for 48 minutes. If the Bucks bring their A game on the defensive side of things, Miami's going to struggle offensively. They are not a good enough offensive team. They have no quote-unquote elite offensive players. Dwayne Wade can still be an elite offensive player in small stretches, but he can only do that for a few minutes per game. He's just not the guy he used to be. And he's a guy that, if he plays well tonight, could help Miami win this game. But if we play defense for 48 minutes, we should win this game pretty easily. And it has been one of the issues Milwaukee has had the past couple of weeks. It's a long damn season. I hope you guys understand that. It is a lot of effort you got to put in. And when you've been the one seed from, basically from day one, not basically, since day one, it's long, it's mentally draining, and those defensive lapses on the mental side of things, it's time to start getting ready for the playoffs. They will be here before we know it. Another thing we need to do, can't look past the Heat tonight, guys. They will fight for this. They are a desperate team. We got a big game with Philly on Sunday, so I just got to make sure the boys didn't go out partying too much and that they don't look past Miami Heat tonight because we got Philly at home on Sunday, and that's a really, really big game against two of the beasts of the East. So can't look past them, and we just need to shoot the ball more consistently. Too many of our three-point shooters, Brogdon, Nico, Lopez, Middleton, way too inconsistent lately. Games like the Suns where a bunch of our good guys combined to shoot like 3 of 25 from three-point range. Can't be having that. We need to be better, more consistent offensive sets. You've watched the league adjust to Giannis the last couple of weeks. They are stuffing the lane. They are literally putting 3 guys in the lane as soon as he touches the ball. And even though he's one of the greatest drivers of the basketball that this league has ever seen, when there's 3 guys in there, bad offensive fouls come. He's not been getting a lot of calls lately. I think the league is trying to learn how to officiate him, which is tough. When you get these physically dominating guys like Giannis, Westbrook, Shaquille O'Neal, it is tough to officiate them. And there are a lot of times where Giannis is guilty of those offensive fouls. So the league has been stuffing the lane against him, and our shooters have not capitalized on this consistent enough. You want to be able to get back to the hoop, Giannis? You need your boys to start making shots. Lopez needs to start making those 3 balls again and not taking bad shots. Moving the ball, passing it, ball movement, getting wide open shots. And at that point, if we're making them, they won't be able to stick 3 guys in the lane against Giannis anymore. He leads the league in assisted three-pointers. Because of that, we just need to take advantage of this more often and shoot the ball more consistently from the outside. So for me, I see this game playing out as a back and forth competitive game. Miami's at home. They're desperate. Both teams didn't play yesterday, so everybody's rested up a little bit. And I think Milwaukee will pull it off at the end, whether the end is 2 minutes to go, early fourth quarter, whatever it might be. I think we'll see a back and forth push early. Milwaukee either gets up early, lets them back in. Miami gets up early. We come fighting back. Either way, it's going to be back and forth the first few quarters. We'll pull away late, and that's why I'd be hesitant to bet the 5 points today. Because how much do we pull away? Does somebody come in and sink a three-pointer at the last second that pushes it one way or the other? We'll win the game, I think. I just think it's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be back and forth. Miami's going to fight for this one. They need every single game. It is tight at the bottom of the East right now. Again, you guys know I evaluate DFS, Daily Fantasy Sports, for a living. That's my full-time job. Guys to look at in this game, not really much of anything. We got some good games out there tonight. There is value to be had in the Hornets-Wizards game. A couple other guys would be like Andre Drummond is in a really, really good spot. Again, going back to that Wizards and Hornets game, there's a ton of value to be had right there. You might have some value on the Clippers going up against the Bulls. Not a great game for DFS. If Dwayne Wade gets cleared early, he's questionable right now. I do like him from the Miami side of things. And outside of that, it's not really a game that you want to target for daily fantasy sports purposes. The guys on the Bucks all get kind of a bump down because of Miami's defense and pace of play. The fact that Milwaukee's been spreading the ball a lot lately, and now you never know who the secondary player is going to be on the day. Some days it's Lopez, some days it's Middleton, Brogdon, Bledsoe, Nico, which is a good problem to have. It just stinks we're trying to pick out specific fantasy plays for that day. So if you guys do play DraftKings or FanDuel, this is not really a game to hone in on our target. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't done yet, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. If anybody is willing to give the thumbs up or like the video, it is sincerely appreciated. We'll see you soon.